Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Research One class. And as a part of my ongoing series detailing my end of year project, where I have my students outline their plan for life immediately after high school, I've been asked what I would do if I had to do it all over again. Not only the project as an assignment, but if I were 18 years old in May 1998 or April 1998, back when I was in high school. So, number one, my path was to join the Navy. What I would have been doing differently would have been to actually pass my classes and make sure that I was on track to graduate. So, that's number one. I would have still had senioritis because it is what it is. I'm the age I am now and not 18 years old like I was back then. But I would have made sure to shake off the senioritis for long enough to make sure that I was going to graduate. Number two, I joined the Navy after high school, so I would have made sure to actually look into the Navy besides that pay chart. It sounds funny now, but the pay chart was actually $858 a month. This was in 1998, 1999. So that was a lot of money at the time, and that was my only consideration because prior to that, I was working for minimum wage. So I don't regret joining the military. However, I would have looked into which career I wanted to pursue. I didn't know it yet, but the military has a saying, or at least the Navy does, which is choose your rate, choose your fate. So I just literally chose the first thing that was available, which was aircraft mechanic. However, that wasn't even my best score on the ASVAB. I would have chosen something like journalism. I would have looked into office administrative work. I would have looked into any number of things besides just choosing the first available option because I saw the military pay chart. And again, I don't regret my time in the military at all. But going in order, as far as choosing what my path would have been, I would have definitely learned more about areas for growth as far as the military. I would have learned about that more. I also excelled in track and field, so I did find my way into an officer program. However, I would have accelerated that path even faster if I would have been looking into it while I was in high school or finishing up high school versus being out in the real world. I just want to add too that section one of the project that we cover is so critical because it's crazy how much more difficult it is when you step outside of the controlled environment of high school. So I didn't realize it at the time. I'm sure that my students don't realize it. I'm sure that my past students who graduated recently, I'm sure they didn't realize it and they're realizing it now that it's so much different when you take away that controlled environment. So while you're in a controlled environment, or while I was in that controlled environment, I would have explored those options more thoroughly. That's what I would have done if I were doing the project all over again. And in keeping with the requirements of figuring out an income, the income part was easy as far as the pay chart. The military pay chart was right there, readily available. Those who are about to graduate high school, you're going to have to do the same thing to figure out what is your source of income, whether you're working, whether you have an allowance, whatever it may be. But what I didn't consider was my expenses beyond buying music. Because at that time, there was not YouTube yet, so I would buy a whole lot of CDs and tapes, and I invested heavily in my music collection, i.e., my wants. I didn't even consider what my needs would be. I would soon get my first cell phone, for example. As funny as that sounds, I got my first cell phone when I joined the Navy, and I quickly ran up the bill because I didn't have any concept or understanding of expenses. How much money was I going to be spending out of that $858 a month? Because if I reflect back, all I thought about was how I was going to spend it. Because in the military, housing is covered, room and board is covered, obviously, but I didn't think about, am I going to buy a car? If so, what is it going to take to register it, or any of those things? None of those things were a consideration, which once again is why I've created this platform, because I want this to be a resource for high school graduates, those approaching high school graduation, my current students, my past students, my future students, anyone with young adults and teenagers in their lives, or or even any person who's just looking for direction. So I just want to make sure to make this readily available. I'm going to continue to push it. This is day 2. I know that I need to take it one step at a time, just like you do as you enter and navigate young adulthood. So thank you very much for listening. We're going to get this posted and we're going to keep it going. I appreciate you.